Tears of the Kingdom is 2 days from today, and we have seen a lot of news as of this week leading up to the game's launch. We received an interview with the developers for Tears of the Kingdom, and they stated out some very important details for Tears of the Kingdom. So, let's talk about it. On Nintendo of America's website, there is a page that says, "Ask the developer, The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom." There are 3 parts to this, and it's just talking about what the idea for Tears of the Kingdom was. Was it an inspiration from Breath of the Wild? Is it a completely new project? Because we do know that Hyrule and the ground is exactly the same from Breath of the Wild. They just changed it a bit, but they took the same world from Breath of the Wild and put it into Tears of the Kingdom. So, a lot of people's questions were answered with this interview from the developers for Tears of the Kingdom. And I just want to talk about the very important ones we received from the developers this week. There are 3 parts to this, but I'm going to talk about the most important things that they said about Tears of the Kingdom. So let's just look at what really stands out from what they said about Tears of the Kingdom. One of the developers, Takehiro Dota, said that he was involved in many Legend of Zelda games throughout the entire franchise and the series. But The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild was the first time he's ever worked on a Legend of Zelda game from the very start. In Tears of the Kingdom, he was responsible for the game's overall technical direction. So, Breath of the Wild had a lot to it. The world was massive, there were many abilities, and there was a lot to do. In Tears of the Kingdom, we see that there is much more to this game, with the new abilities we possess, with how big the world will be, including the skies and the underground. He says that this game is going to be way larger than Breath of the Wild, even though we're using the exact same base. He said that there is a lot more to do in this game compared to Breath of the Wild, and that there will be a large variety of things to do in this game. Most of the developers, including Eiji Aonuma, said that Skyward Sword was a massive influence on Tears of the Kingdom. There are many Sky Islands in Skyward Sword, and you would be able to go back to the ground from the Sky Islands. They used the same idea in Tears of the Kingdom, with the new Sky Islands being added to this game. You can go in the Sky Islands, you could go back down to the surface, and you could keep doing it. It's really cool that they actually got some inspiration from Skyward Sword. Skyward Sword is a very loved game. It has some mixed opinions, but the game overall has great game design, great layout. It's a great game, and I'm glad that they're taking more from Breath of the Wild and Skyward Sword into Tears of the Kingdom rather than just making up new ideas, because we want that tradition of an old Legend of Zelda game with the new Legend of Zelda game. The main thing the developers said, mainly Eiji Aonuma, is that Tears of the Kingdom, no matter what, was going to be a direct sequel to Breath of the Wild, and they were going to use the same engine and the same world. No matter what, this was never going to change. I like that because Tears of the Kingdom is being built off of one of the best games ever made for Nintendo. Breath of the Wild was a phenomenal game. It was phenomenal at launch, and building off of it is just going to make Tears of the Kingdom better. They're obviously going to add so much more to what Breath of the Wild had into Tears of the Kingdom, and we could already see that in all the trailers we're receiving. The story is more developed, the gameplay looks way more fun than Breath of the Wild. Not saying Breath of the Wild's gameplay wasn't fun, but Tears of the Kingdom has so much more to it. You can build, you can do whatever you want in Tears of the Kingdom, and there's still a great story to go with that. This game is never ending. You have a massive world to explore, and Eiji Aonuma said that Tears of the Kingdom is an experience you don't want to miss, with fantastic traditional puzzle solving and traditional dungeons with better shrines that may be more difficult or more easy than Breath of the Wild. This game is set to be one of the best games ever made for Nintendo, if not the best game ever made, and it's going to be a really good game come May 12th. We know a lot before this launch. I've never known this much going into a launch of a video game ever, especially a Legend of Zelda game, because Nintendo loves to keep things a secret, and they sure did it with Tears of the Kingdom. And the final week for Tears of the Kingdom, they just let everything out, showed a little bit new gameplay, talked about the whole idea of Tears of the Kingdom, what there is to offer for this game, and this game is just so close. We are so I could feel it. We are only 2 days away from today. It comes out tomorrow internationally, but for most of us in the US, it comes out on May 12th. So, if you guys are excited for Tears of the Kingdom, let me know in the comments down below. I just wanted to talk about a little bit of some details from the developer's interview. Not all of it. If you guys do want to check all of it out before the launch of Tears of the Kingdom, I will leave it down in the description down below. But I just wanted to talk about the main parts and the main points that the developers made when talking about the idea for Tears of the Kingdom and what there is to offer. So, again, if you guys enjoyed this video, let me know in the comments down below. I thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
Link! You must find me.